Today we are going to be learning adding and subtracting fractions. Terms to review or to keep in mind: whole number, numerator, denominator, common denominator, improper fraction, equivalent fraction, multiples, factors, greatest common factor, and lowest common denominator. So what I'm going to do is we're going to work through a series of word problems, and I'm going to write it out. Midway through, I will give you a word problem. We'll write it out. You can pause the video, work it out for yourself, and then restart the video and we'll go through the problem together. So the first problem: Jack and Jill need 1 cup of shredded carrots to create a carrot cake. Jack has 1/4 of a cup of carrots. Jill has 3/4 of a cup. Do they have enough shredded carrots to make their cake? So we are going to add the fractions. One quarter or 1/4 plus 3/4 or 3/4. They have the same denominator, so we're going to bring down the denominator, and then we're going to add the numerators. So 1 plus 3 is 4, and then bring over the denominator, so 4/4. Any fraction that has the same numerator and the same denominator equals 1. So together, combined, they have 1 cup of shredded carrots, and they are able to make their cake. Our next problem: Ben and Jerry need 1 1/2 cups of sugar for their cookie recipe. Ben has 3/4 of a cup of sugar, and Jerry has 3/4 of a cup of sugar. The question is, do they have enough sugar to make their cookies? So we're again going to add fractions. So Ben has 3/4, and we're going to add that to Jerry's 3/4. So again, we're going to carry over our denominator since it is the same, and then we're going to add our numerators. 3 plus 3. So carry over our denominator, and then 3 plus 3 is 6. And this is called an improper fraction. And so we need to create the mixed number and put this in lowest terms. So to put 6/4 into lowest terms, what we want to do is divide 6 by 4. 4 will go into 6 one time. 1 times 4 is 4. And then we subtract. 6 minus 4 is 2. So this is our whole number. This is our numerator. And 4 is our denominator. So the improper fraction is going to be 1 2/4. But is this in lowest terms? To determine if it's in lowest terms, we're going to determine the factors. So the factors for 2 is 2 times 1, and the factor for 4 is 2 times 2 and 4 times 1. So the common factor is 2, so that's going to be our denominator. So 1 2/4, we're going to carry over our whole number of 1, And so 2 goes into 4 2 times, and 2 goes into 2 1 time. So our lowest terms is 1 1/2. And they needed 1 1/2 cups of sugar to make their cookies, and that is exactly what they have. Okay, this time Anne's recipe calls for 3/4 cup of flour. She has measured out 1/2 cup. How much more flour is she going to need? So we have 3/4 that is needed, and right now she has 1/2. They have different denominators, so we need to find the common denominator and create an equivalent fraction to determine how much we have. Okay, and so we're going to look at multiples of 2 and 4. 2 and 4. So the multiples of 2 are 2, 4, 6, 8, and so on. The multiples of 4 are 4, 8, 12, 16, and so on. So the lowest common denominator is 4. That's the number that they have in common. So, since 4 is the lowest common denominator, now we're ready to make our equivalent fractions. 3/4, we're just going to bring that one down. And then for 1/2, to change this into an equivalent fraction, 2 goes into 4, it's 2 times. And then we're going to multiply 1 times 2 to get 2. So 1/2 has an equivalent fraction of 2/4. So we're going to bring this down, 2/4. So now we're ready. 3 minus 2, those are our numerators. We're going to bring down our common denominator. So 3 minus 2 is 1. Bring over our common denominator. So Anne still needs 1/4 cup of flour for her recipe. Okay, so this is going to be our practice. So we have a recipe that calls for 5 cups of sugar. Karen has 1 1/2 cups of sugar. Tom has 2 1/2 cups. So do they have enough sugar to make the recipe? So let's add fractions. So 1 1/2 plus 2 1/2. So pause the video here and then we'll work it together. Okay, so we're adding fractions. We're going to add the whole numbers. So 1 plus 2 is 3, so we're going to bring that over. Now we're ready to add fractions. So 1/2 plus 1/2. Again, we have a common denominator, so we're going to bring the common denominator over. And then we've got 1 plus 1. We're going to add the numerators. So that is 1 plus 1 is 2 over the denominator of 2. Any number over itself in a fraction is going to always equal 1. So then we can add this 1 plus the 3 that we already have, which is 4. So they have 4 cups of sugar, and therefore they do not have enough to make their recipe. If you have further questions, please review the video again, and remember to review the terms that we looked at the start. Our whole numbers, numerator, denominator, common denominator, improper fraction, equivalent fraction, multiples, factors, greatest common factor, and lowest common denominator. Thank you.